The group stage of the Icons Global Championship 2022 is a battlefield of the very best teams in the world. Join us today as we are going to witness T1 vs Team Flash while highlighting one specific player on Lee Sin, Zysu. And this video will teach you the following: how to split the map, accelerating the game, how to punish wave states, how to punish cooldowns, how to be patient, and how to pilot Lee Sin like Zysu does. Playing Lee Sin is a powerful choice that comes with a lot of responsibilities. Being forced to accelerate the game as fast as possible while minimizing the risk of giving everything or anything away is one of the hardest things to do. To make it easier for you, let's observe Zysu's choices to help you understand what it means to combine stability with explosive acceleration. Starting with the Kerxx, Zysu wants to make sure to put his camps on cooldown to increase his gold income. At the same time, he's splitting the map with his play as Wukong will not be allowed entry to this side of the map. The relative matchups in the Dragon lane and mid lane dictate that. The reason for that is rather simple. Whenever you're facing a Lee Sin, you need to respect the possibility of him ganking you after just doing one camp. If you disrespect that, you might end up losing your team the entire game from the get-go. Therefore, you're not allowed to play towards your typical matchup in lane. That way, lanes are allowed to stack waves and create an opportunity any Lee Sin player needs to abuse: the option to dive and attack the enemy behind the tower. With the wave in the Dragon lane crashing into the tower, Zysu already knows what to do: dive BDG and make him lose every single piece of gold. There's no escape and Zysu knows that, so even Penguin can't save his friend BDG from Zysu's onslaught. Immediately he flashes into BDG's face and starts pummeling him to death. With the pressure put on, BDG has no choice but to try and run. However, it's utterly futile because once Zysu's Lee Sin is too close, it's just too easy to hit that first ability. And once that happens, BDG's fate is sealed and Penguin, who tries to help, will fall as well. Another thing you have to learn to abuse as a Lee Sin is the lack of summoner spells on the enemy team. If they're on cooldown and you have the proper setup, you can accelerate the game massively. Just take a look at Zysu and his teammates. The wave is once again under the enemy tower. BDG and Penguin are trying to make their way to the wave but are intercepted by Lee Sin and Empty, with Ellie being ready to pounce at a moment's notice. But here's the real deal. Coyote was informed about the lack of sums of the Dragon lane and takes aim with his enchanted crystal arrow. Be aware, be decisive, and most importantly, never forget about enemy cooldowns. Remember what Zysu did in the Dragon lane? He is now beyond accelerated and fat and only waits for an opportunity to be given to him. Fortunately, the same principle applies to all lanes. Have a stacked wave, walk into the tower and force a dive. Once again, with the assistance of Coyote's enchanted crystal arrow, it's an easy feat to just remove Zhong from the rift. Don't be too tunneled on just one lane, spread your presence and use your lead to snowball all other parts of the map. That is the way of the Lee Sin, and that's the way of Zysu. Lee Sin can enter a fight from any angle, and all you need is the awareness and confidence displayed by Zysu as he connects his first ability, walks around and finds an angle on the isolated Rakan of Penguin. Here you have to understand though, any kind of mistake or hesitation can get you killed. Core and BDG are immediately ready to respond, and even Penguin is trying to reply in fashion. However, Zysu knows, and after forcing vital cooldowns, backs off for a brief moment. It's mandatory that you understand that sometimes playing for cooldowns is better than trying to go for an instant kill. Be aware of the variables and play around them, just like Zysu does it. As fights unfold, it's important that you keep a cool head. Lee Sin needs precise and proper sequencing and is very dependent on knowing what you have to do next. Let's follow Zysu's decisions for a moment here. He joins the fight a bit delayed and spots Zhong trying to escape the fight. With the power of Yumu's Ghost Blade and his mobility, there's no way Zhong is going to escape. With Zhong's Riven removed from the rift, Zysu puts his attention back onto the fight and goes for the closest target available. For every Lee Sin player out there, you can always view the closest target as a tool you can use to get to more vital targets. Just kick the frontliner right back into the backline and follow up with your first or second ability. The chaos you create by doing so will grant you and your teammates enough time to wipe the enemy off the rift. And now it's about showcasing the true deadliness of Lee Sin. Dash close to a target of your choice, then kick flash them right into your team. It's a risky play, but if you succeed, you turn the game into your team's favor, or you're able to put another nail into the coffin of the enemy team. Look how Zysu does it with Yi. There's just no hope as Yi flies right towards Coyote, Empty and Ellie, and for Zysu's trouble, he also gains another inhibitor tower. With the late game being reached and Baron being a valid option to end the game, it's time to show you how you can bait a fighter on that specific objective. Zysu knows what to do. Previously they had trouble ending the game due to T1's strong defense, but if there's something T1 cannot deal with, it's 2 super minion lanes amped up by the Baron buff. Losing this objective will just end the game automatically, and the only hope of victory is contesting the purple worm. Zysu is aware of that and baits them in, as he's about to combine everything we've mentioned previously into one magnificent chain of play. Dashing in, following up on Empty's and Coyote's crowd control to put Yi in a terrible spot. Briefly after, Zysu repositions himself with the second ability and passes the wall towards Baron to find the isolated Rakan of Penguin. Once again turning into a deadly machine, pulling the curtain for T1 as he kick flashes Penguin into core. T1 is on the ground and Zysu's Lee Sin is the victor, but here's something for you to think about at home. Once you hit your first ability on Lee Sin, you're not forced to take it immediately. You can reposition yourself with your second ability to avoid dangerous crowd control, and you can use your Protobolt enchant rather than your flash. However, don't forget, a flash will always be faster and it's all about patience and anticipation. Master yourself, master the enemy. Be like Zysu. And to show you how Zysu's performance in numbers looks like, let's take a gander. Ending the game with a KDA of 5.2 and nearly 2000 damage per minute really tells a story about this player. He likes to attack, to dominate, and to conquer everything in his way. The 74% KP and nearly 1000 gold per minute just really adds to his overbearing presence on the Rift. You want more icons? Then follow the links and watch to your heart's content. See you soon for more Rift guides at icons.